come to OSG and end up getting to World's Strongest Man. There's been so many.
There's been all too many. But for the athletes looking to find the path forward, it's paved right in front of them. You just have to take charge and seize that glory, putting yourself through these immense trials of strength here today. But we are jacking up the weight of the Viking press, very literally jacking it up. I mean, we've got those car jacks on the end of it. But 365 pounds, 165.5 kilos. This is massive.
Heavy.
Massive.
Heavy weights. This is heavier than some pro shows.
Yeah, it is. It is. And we have 8 kegs on top of that apparatus. Just insane.
And a fantastic lineup. I'm looking forward to watching this.
So our first heat, Victor Ampofo of Ghana in lane number 1. Anders Aslak of Denmark in lane 2, Jacob Fincher of the USA in lane 3, and Stuart Graham of Scotland in lane number 4. Jake Fincher, it's great to see him competing again. He is a pro strongman from Texas. Good buddy, someone who I've gotten to see ascend the ranks, and he was never one of the biggest athletes.
No.
He's very tall, very lean, but man, this guy has some strong shoulders on him. Very strong, and he can operate. He has a very athletic build about him. I'm very curious to see how he does.
Last year, Pavlo Kordiaka was the winner. Built very similar in terms of athletic looking, tall, long levers. But if they can recruit every one of those muscle fibers in the body to perform at the same time, sometimes that counteracts against the smaller shoulders and biceps and triceps that we see from some of the stockier athletes.
It's a big category of athletes. We have 44 total, all vying for that Giants Live spot.
Look how powerful. This is a powerful group of men for our first heat. Fincher is flying here. Let's remind ourselves, this is 165 kilos, 365 pounds, and we are already close to double figures.
Wow, Fincher just really inched that last one up and got it, but he, like I said, he has some of the strongest shoulders I've seen, and coming from an athlete who tends to run on the lighter side, he wanted it bad. He won.
Aslak and Graham are performing exceptionally well with 6 and 7 repetitions, but 9 repetitions so far for Fincher. 15. They are laying the standard for the rest of the athletes to follow. Under 10. Can we get that 10th rep? Oh, just unable. 3, 2, 1. Wow. I was impressed with 6 by Aslak. I'm extremely impressed with Graham. He's coming back from injury. Good to see the Scottish athlete back again. But Fincher there, what a way to start
us
off.
Arms like cannons. And he is really setting off with a good pace moving through the rest of these official strongman games here in Daytona, Florida.
Heat number 2, number 1, representing Norway.
All right, our second heat in our men's open category. Hakon Kolerud from Norway in lane 1. Joe Stella of USA in lane 2. Sami Ahola from Finland in lane number 3. And in lane 4, Tyler Obringer of the USA. 365 pounds.
9 repetitions is our target to beat. And we're underway. Ahola looking very solid early on.
Seeing a possible strain from Stella there. He's pulling himself out. He felt something off, but
10 repetitions.
Incredible. Obringer bringing the heat.
He is indeed.
Insane, and he's still moving, showing no signs of wavering. Biding his energy.
12 repetitions for Obringer. Ahola still working hard. Kolerud on 3. Stella unable to lift this weight, but he is cheering
seconds.
on the other athletes.
Obringer still has time and he still has power. Loving the war braids. He's looking like a Viking.
3,
14 reps.
1.
Wow.
There we go, our new leader.
14 reps with 365 pounds. 40 pounds heavier than what we just saw in the men's over 40 division. Dimitar Savatinov got 13 reps at 325. Obringer got 14 at 365. Incredible.
This category is just so exciting. It's introducing the strongman world to new superstars. You know, in a year or two's time, we're going to be seeing athletes like that competing at the Giants Live, competing at World's Strongest Man, and this is your opportunity to really see them excel up that ranking.
I know we have many more feats of strength ahead with this category of athlete right here, but moving on to our third heat. In lane number 1, Nicolas Gardillon of USA. In lane number 2, John Furr of USA. Lane number 3, Aurélien Lejeune of France in lane number 3, and lane number 4, Oskar Ziolkowski of Poland.
Now, Oscar has won a Champions League competition before, so I'm quite interested to see him compete. I've never had the opportunity to see him myself, but I hear good things.
Nick Gardillon, a Texas athlete, good friend of mine, someone who I've watched start ascending the amateur ranks, has missed his pro card to make him a pro athlete here in the States very narrowly, but he has trained hard, he has bulked up, he is looking like a powerhouse. And I can say the same about Furr. I've competed with him in the past, he's very strong. I mean, this is going to be a good match here on this heat. Ziolkowski already at 7.
Yeah, solid.
All 4 men biting their power. Needing to go that distance for the entire 60-second time cap.
Ziolkowski looks like he's burnt out on that 7 now.
Nick
Can anyone
Gardillon.
else get an extra rep?
Nick is at 4. Lejeune is at 3. I think Ziolkowski has hit his fatigue threshold. Gardillon gets back under it. 10 seconds, it's now or never.
Oh, that's good.
I love to see that. I love to see that. After gathering that
very,
power
very well timed.
in the nick of time.
Good understanding of his own ability there. Really, really nice performance. Ziolkowski taking the win in that heat, though. 7 repetitions. Potential future Polish superstar.
Heat number 4, Jonathan Wolfert of Germany in lane 1. Lucas Hatton of the USA in lane 2. Denis Berezink of Ukraine in lane 3. And Roy Orantia of the USA in lane 4. Now, I want to call attention to Lucas Hatton of the USA. He just competed at the North American National Championships, and he won the axle event there with an axle clean and press of 445 pounds, so over 200 kilos. This man has some incredible shoulders.
200 kilo in contest.
Over 200 kilos
wow.
on axle. And he could have gone for more, but he didn't need to. He has said out loud that he wants the axle world record, and he will press 500 pounds soon on it.
Wow. So we need to keep our eyes on this man.
But in lane number 4, Roy Orantia is also a powerhouse, an incredible deadlifter, capable of deadlifting 900
that
pounds.
first rep there by Hatton was just ridiculously easy.
I think Lucas Hatton is going to take this heat. He has just got some of the strongest shoulders I've ever seen.
Wolfert just struggling to get this weight up at all.
Roy with 5 reps. Berezink with 7. Hatton with 9.
Lucas Hatton looking very, very strong here. Needs 1 more rep to go into 2nd place.
That fatigue threshold is just hit.
Working hard, he gets that 10th rep into double figures. Not sure we're going to see much more.
Berezink also double figures, or at least from what I'm
Wow.
seeing on the counter there.
I think he's on. Yeah, he is. Wow. What a heat we had there.
Incredible. And you know, it's one thing to be such a statically strong athlete at a top end weight. Like I was talking about Luke Hatton. He won that axle event. He wants that big world record someday. But to go for a 1 rep versus lasting for a whole 60 seconds, getting max reps, I mean, we've talked about it repeatedly at this point. The shoulders burn out very easily.
Look at
But
this man
speaking
in
of
front
strong
of us.
shoulders, big Wesley Claiborne.
He's been so close to breaking into that kind of top echelon of the sport so many times.
This is a stacked class right here, or this heat. Wesley Claiborne in lane 1 of the USA, Nejmin Ambeskovic of Bosnia
Tom
in
Evans
lane 2.
in it as well.
Tom Evans,
Wow.
Connor Gordon, and Nejmin. We both entered the 1,000-pound deadlift club on the same day in Manchester last year. He's got some of the biggest legs I've ever seen. He is a massive man. Claiborne has a huge overhead. Tom Evans doesn't have many weaknesses at all. We're going to see some
could be
big
exciting.
things here.
Everyone will be watching this heat. This is going to be exciting.
Who wants that Giants Live spot? We will see.
Nejmin Ambeskovic here. Really good to see him doing this competition. It's very easy to think because you've been invited to one Giants Live, I don't need to do anything anymore. He's trying to prove he is one of the best, and this is the place to do it. Unless you're kind of one of the established guys that's regularly invited or making finals of World's Strongest Man, you need to keep proving that you're capable. You need to keep winning competitions. Nejmin's proved he's an incredible deadlifter. Now it's time to prove you're a great strongman as well. Evans, for me, has been so impressive this year. He's won the Shaw Classic Amateurs. He won the Arnold Amateurs. He is here to get that World's Strongest Man spot. And then Wesley Claiborne, a man that's been so close so many times. This is going to be an epic battle.
This is. We're going to see some big things here.
Got some rowdy fans now that Nejmin's out there.
Cheering on their Bulgarian countrymen.
Oh, Evans slipping off the handles there. Claiborne looking very solid. 8 reps, takes a breather. Nejmin's on 3.
Wesley's
Tom
looking.
Evans on 6 repetitions and Gordon on 2.
Wesley, double digits with 10 reps.
He needs big points on this event. We know he's a good presser. If he can get one more, he goes into second place.
Evans with 9, just barely behind Claiborne.
Evans just trying to time everything. Great all-round athlete. Really one of those athletes that can just get the best out of him when it comes to competition day. And there you go, 10 repetitions for Evans.
Evans needs one more to inch out Claiborne.
Wesley went off fast, but burnt out. Evans timed it well, 10 repetitions. Gordon finished on 2, and Ambeskovic finishing on 3 repetitions.
You know, I will go back to it and say it again. It is one thing to be statically strong at those 1 reps. And you see, this is the athlete category where you're going to see these really big, strong bodies. But strength at first glance, especially for a single or a few reps, is very different than being able to have the body well conditioned to last the entire 60 seconds.
It's so true. We see guys that can do 1 rep and they're exceptional, but you make them do reps, they burn out very quickly.
And that double-digit mark is usually like, that's a big changer right there. You see a very different level of performance come into the fold at that point. But another big class of athlete right here, another big heat. All right, we have Josh Hatfield of the USA in lane 1, Jack Harkin of Ireland in lane 2, Ayub Mohammed of Germany in lane 3, and Adam Roskowski of Poland in lane 4. Josh Hatfield is an American pro strongman here. He is very strong, tried and tested over and over again. Massive stone loader, pretty great deadlifter. I'm curious to see how such a tall individual fares here.
Ayub Mohammed, this is going to be one of his favorite events of the competition. German representative, very strong presser. He's one of my athletes, and I'm expecting him to get good points on this event.
I got to meet him at the Shaw Classic. He was competing in the
amateur, that's
right.
right.
In the amateurs there, and he did very well.
He's got a few weaknesses overall, but he's got some strengths, and pressing's one of them.
He is hungry.
He wants to show everyone he's got great shoulder and tricep power. We're trying to work a little bit on his conditioning, like you mentioned earlier, those repetitions. When you need a bit more conditioning and fitness, that's an area he needs to improve in, but he has tremendous power when it comes to overhead.
8 reps already on the board for Mohammed. Just, wow.
Hatfield close with his 5th there, couldn't quite get it. Harkin on 2. 15. Come on then, Mohammed, let's get one more rep. Double figures will be brilliant for Ayub. Can't quite finish it off.
3, 2, 1.
But 9 repetitions still. When we see what the other athletes have done, he's going to be pleased with that.
I saw Hatfield go for that last rep attempt and immediately set it down, reaching toward his arm. I'm hoping that in that last-ditch effort to try to get another rep, he didn't wind up injuring himself. But at 365 pounds on this apparatus,
we're seeing some fantastic performances by so many athletes. This is going to be an epic class this weekend. Everyone fighting hard for those Giants live spots.
you got to want it bad. But our 7th heat, Andrew Montoya of USA in lane 1, Nathan Goltry, USA in lane 2, James Rood, USA in lane 3, and Matthew Ragg, New Zealand in lane 4. These, let's see, Nathan Goltry I know is a strong presser. And this is one of his strengths right here. I'm looking forward to seeing some big things from him. But Matthew Ragg out of New Zealand, a big athlete. I've competed with him in the past, and he has only gotten stronger every year that has transpired. Strong deadlifter, big man with big shoulders, big upper back, big traps. We can expect, just at first glance, that he is going to be a strong presser. But going the distance for a full 60 seconds is another story. Let's see how it unfolds.
Montoya, Goltry, Rood, and Ragg. Everyone gets the first rep. Montoya looking very strong in lane number 1. Each rep looking powerful. Ragg on 7 or 6.
Goltry just got 7. 6 for Montoya.
And Goltry just using that time now, trying to recover.
Ragg at 8. Also recovering.
Goltry and Ragg both tied on 8 reps. Ragg keeps going, he goes to 9. Goltry using this time, just sat there waiting.
10 seconds.
Let's see if he's timed this right.
Double digits for Ragg.
That's very good.
Under 10.
9 repetitions for Goltry. 10 repetitions.
3.
Can he get one more? Yes, he can.
Wow. Right
That
in the
is
nick of time.
fantastic. 11 reps there for Goltry, I believe. That puts him into 2nd place.
I believe so as well. We'll get the official scores after, but he just inched ahead of Wesley Claiborne with his 10 reps there. Our 8th heat, Alex Kopp of the USA, lane 1. David Tinsman, lane 2. Spencer Remick, lane 3. Dylan Gardner in lane 4. All 4 athletes of the USA.
Spencer Remick as well. 2nd place, I believe, last year at OSG.
He competed at the Royal Albert Hall, if I'm not mistaken, or at Giants Live this year.
Yeah, and it's good to see him back. He wants to win this title.
He does. And Alex
Again.
Kopp, a man who doesn't have many weaknesses, but is coming back from an injury sustained a year or 2 ago.
Spencer starting strong.
Spencer has some very strong shoulders.
Gardner on 4 already. Tinsman on 6. But Remick is in the lead on 8 so far. Just starting to slow down now. He's going to take a rest. To hit 9 all out, that's pretty good. Now if he can use this time and get himself a couple more reps, that'll be the perfect start for Spencer. I don't think he's too worried about chasing the 14 reps, but if he can get himself into a clear 2nd place,
He's got it in
double.
him.
This puts him in joint 2nd. He needs 1 more rep. He's going to be happy with that. Oh, we've got athletes. Oh, this looks nasty. Tinsman just on the floor there. I'm not sure what happened. We need some medics for him.
3, 2, 1.
Remick, 12 reps.
Tinsman was going really strong. 9 repetitions, but going for that 10th, just something happened there to his leg. And this is what we hate to see. Potentially something popping there. Got the medics out straight away. 9, such a good score as well. Tinsman is going to be looked after by the medics.
You hate to see it, man. It really hurts
These
to
athletes
see.
put so much effort into preparing for these competitions. When it goes wrong like that, it's devastating. But he will be back. You know, being a strength athlete, you're a warrior. You've got to fight. You've got to learn from these mistakes. And unfortunately, these things do happen.
I believe Spencer Remick walked out of there with 12 reps, putting him
Second
in
place.
unofficially second place. We'll verify that when the scores get posted.
With how great an all-round athlete he is, that's a perfect start for Spencer.
Our ninth heat, Dan Cave of England in lane 1. Lane 2, Nico Chaparales of USA in lane 2.
The man that's been talking a big game.
Yep. Lane 3, Jacco Schoenwinkel of South Africa. And lane number 4, Kevin Hazeliger of the Netherlands.
I'm looking forward to seeing Nico. He was injured, bicep tear last year, could not compete. He's worked hard. And he's talked hard.
Yeah, he has.
So let's see what kind of shape he's in. I know he loves a deadlift. How's his overhead?
His prep has been looking on point to this point, up to here, but like we were talking about, all apparatuses are different.
It's
and
time
when the
to
whistle blows,
prove
it's
it.
something else.
That's exactly it. Doing it when it counts, and so far, it's not looking good.
He felt something off right off the get-go and doesn't want to push. I think he might be thinking about that bicep injury that he sustained a while back and just doesn't want to challenge it. So
Cave is on 2 reps. Schoenwinkel
is on 8.
8. Very good. And I think
20 seconds left.
nine repetitions for Schoenwinkel. He's fighting hard for the 10th.
Wow,
Ooh.
double digits at 365 pounds.
Wow.
3, 2.
I wonder what went wrong with Nico right there. You know, it's especially if you're coming back from an injury yourself. Watching a fellow competitor get devastatingly injured in the heat before you can play a big mental role with how you are able to attack your heat when it comes time to go. But you got to be able to tune that stuff out.
You've got to be, I was just going to say, you've got to be able to focus on you. And it's a hard thing to do because you see people get hurt, and we're all human, we all have emotion, we all react to things. But when you're here as a competitor, you're here to do a job. And you've got to be so single-minded and focused on what you're approaching.
And I'm not going to presume to know that that's what happened with Nico. He may really
have
have
no
felt
idea.
that something was off and needed to make a smart call. But I can relate personally to seeing an athlete, a fellow competitor, get hurt before I go, and that having a weight on my mind. And you have to be able to approach your set, your heat with clarity and focus. All right. Our next heat, our 10th heat, Marcus Alexander of Grenada in lane 1. Seth Sukup of USA in lane 2. Stephen Good of USA in lane 3. And Karolis Alexandroviciu of Lithuania in lane number 4. So I will say that Seth Sukup, I saw him just dominate at the OSG Southwest Regional Qualifier here in the States. He's got legs as big as Luke Stoltman.
That's some big legs.
That's some big legs. But Stephen Good, right next to him, another Texas athlete, he's looking on point.
I was impressed with Stephen when I watched him at the Arnold's earlier this year. Amateur Arnold's, a very good all-round athlete, and you said he's improved since then. So
he has, but he is a very tall athlete. So we know that range of motion has a big factor to play here with this lever lift.
So everyone's struggling in this heat from some of the double-figure heats that we've seen. This one looking a little bit more challenging. Stephen chipping away, adding reps to his total. I think that's 4 or 5 he's got there. Sukup just in my line of vision. So there we go. I can see on the screen there, 4 reps.
We got 1 rep for Alexandra Viscu in lane number 4.
20 seconds.
Can he get the 5th? He does. Locks out the 5th rep. I like how he knows this isn't his strongest event, but he's just trying to chip away, get an extra rep. Take a breather, go again. Trying to get the maximum, using that time limit to his advantage. 5 reps, solid performance there from a man that's extremely tall, long-levered, and, admits that this isn't his best event. So,
our final heat.
1 more heat to go.
Josh Gregory of the USA in lane 1. Taylor O'More McClell of Australia in lane number 2. Tim Buck of the USA in lane 3. And Nicholas Smith of USA in lane 4.
Taylor O'More McClelland. We haven't quite got everything written down on here, so it's just cutting out. But Australian athlete, come a long way. Josh Gregory, Tim Buck, and Nicholas Smith. Nice to see these Southern Hemisphere athletes competing this year. They weren't able to come last year. We really do have a World Championships this year.
It's quite a distance to travel from Australia all the way over here.
Yeah. Taylor's had a lot of issues he's had to go through. Made homeless through to flooding. He's come back from health issues. We weren't sure he was going to get here. And the fact that he's here competing is just a huge achievement. Another one of my athletes. I'm proud that he's just here. He's not going to challenge for the title this year, but he's worked hard to get himself to compete along these incredible athletes.
The experience gained here, Laz, is just so invaluable, especially for a hungry athlete whose ambitions are aiming towards that top spot. You walk out of here a much stronger individual than you could have ever imagined.
Buck looking very solid in lane number 3. Gregory on 4 reps in lane number 1. Make that 5. How many's that now for Buck? Can't quite see. He's still
Number 12, I believe.
12. Wow.
Yeah.
That is a performance.
He needs one more if he's going to inch out Spencer Remy.
Has he got time for one more rep? Needs to go.
3, 2.
Oh, what an effort. There we go.
Well, Taylor did really well. 5 reps. That's a strong score.
Oh, Taylor zeroed, unfortunately.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But,
Who am I seeing right here? That was Josh.
Yes.
My bad.
Yeah.
My apologies there.
But 12 repetitions. That another epic performance.
We're 25% of the way there.
We saw some amazement there. That was no one was quite able to touch Taylor O'Bringer. That was at 365
14 reps.
pounds.
I mean, that guy's made a mark there.
And
Put himself up with some of the best pressers on the planet. I mean, look at the names he's beaten. Heavier weight than Dimitar Savatinov used in the Masters there, and more reps.
And here we have the scores. 14 for Tyler, 12 for Spencer. Also a tie in second place with Spencer and Tim Buck. Nathan Goldtree.
Look how many athletes there on 10 reps.
The entire screen is populated with double digits right now. But we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 6 athletes showing on screen right now that tied for 10. And 10 was that threshold where you could see the static strength monsters just really start to have to venture into conditioning. And to see, those top 4 spots be able to get just a little bit of extra repetitions and separating them from that massive pack of 10. At 365 pounds, almost 170 kilos, that's nothing short of impressive.
There we go, 9 repetitions for a number of athletes, 8, 7. This class is going to be exciting to watch. So many epic performances. We are in for a battle this weekend.
And this was just the start. This was a shoulder pressing event. We have some loaded carries in store. We have some deadlifts in store. I mean, for the athletes that were strong in the shoulders, this was time to earn some points.
Absolutely.
And if athletes weren't necessarily strong in the shoulders, well, get some points and let's save your power for
We
workouts
move on
next.
to the Farmer's Walk next. We will be back shortly with that one, guys. Stay tuned for more strength action.
There's signs to prove that when the jaw and the mandible is aligned correctly, your force output is actually amplified. So if you want to lift more just by simply putting the correct mouth guard in your mouth, go see the guys over at Impact, and they'll tell you exactly how to make that happen. If you're hungry, we've got meal prep service right next door. They even have a microwave for you. You want to buy a pre-fit, pre-macro meal from them, they got you covered. Crystal Pump, Strongman Steve. Look at how jacked and tan this guy is. He's missing the tan part, but he's got a great mustache. So you should at least go buy something from him just for that reason. But he's got some unique formulas over there that are built on science alone and a little bit of voodoo and some stuff that I don't recommend you take a drug test at work because you're going to fail. But it's in the supplements. That's what matters.
Who want that Giants Live spot?
We got Victor Ampofo of Ghana, Joe Stell of USA, Jonathan Wolfert of Germany, Nico Chaprales of USA.
Chaprales hot out the gates. Underperformed on the Viking press. But a man who talks a very big game and is feeling confident coming into this event. A very strong deadlifter. I know he wants that 1,000-pound deadlifting contest. He's so close to it, and that back power shows itself here.
Absolutely epic run.
Stella closing in and gets it. Ampofo right behind him.
And Pofo gets the finish. Yes.
And Wolfert getting every inch of distance that he can. All right, so that was our first heat, and Nico Chaprales finishing with a sub-20 mark to start, 19.38 seconds out of Nico. Like I said, a man who talks a big game, backing it up. Hot out the gates on the first heat, setting the pace for all the athletes yet to come. And we have, this is our heaviest of our athlete classes here. These athletes are carrying 350 pounds, 159 kilos in each hand, for a total combined weight of 700 pounds in motion. We have heat number 2 stepping onto the field. Marcus Alexander of Grenada in lane 1, Seth Sukup of USA, lane 2. Taylor O'More McClellan of Australia in lane 3, and lane 4, Nicholas Smith. And I am rejoined by Big Laws. Welcome back.
It's good to be back, buddy. What a long day we are doing here. Colin's going to come in and give you a break after this farmer's walk, but we've seen some impressive performances so far.
A lot of nail biters, and I am glad Colin is waiting until after this event is done to give me the break, because I cannot wait to see how this class of athlete transpires. We have Nico Chaprales in heat number 1.
What was Nico's time? That looked quick.
Sub-20, 19.38 seconds, our
Good
current
to
leader.
see after his disappointment in the Viking press.
Yes, and Nick Smith getting so close to that finish line and having a drop. He needs to get it there and not eat up time. But at 700 total pounds in tow, this is no easy feat. Every pick off the ground is a 700-pound deadlift.
And when you think we've got the deadlift to come later, whew.
We're going to have some athletes that are definitely wearing some battle scars of the 2 events that have already taken place.
So Nico Chaprales in first place currently with 19.36 seconds.
19.38 seconds from Nico.
Seconds. There we go.
Coached by Derek Poundstone.
I went and had a chat with them earlier. Derek is here supporting him. A legend of the strength game.
Indeed. Just like yourself, someone I looked to towards motivation and inspiration as I was up and coming.
Well, Derek is a hugely inspirational character. Someone that did so well. One of the few guys that you put into that category of greatest never to win World's Strongest Man for sure.
All right, we are moving on to heat number 3. James Ruud, USA in lane 1. Karolis Alexandrovičius of Lithuania in lane 2. John Furr, USA in lane 3. And Connor Gordon, USA in lane 4. All right, the big men. 350 pounds per hand. Fur is the first to get to the opposite side, closely followed by Rude.
Fur looks like he's on the verge of falling forward, but he just holds out. Oh, and there we go. He saved it for the line. I could see it coming.
You called it, but wow, style points and
managed to time it perfectly.
To see a big man just dive like that and do a somersault, you know, it almost makes you want to go and check the ground to see if there's an impact crater.
There could well be. These are some big boys that are flying all over the place.
Yeah, but that's a lot of momentum in motion. I mean, these guys weigh well over 300 pounds, and they're carrying 700 pounds. This is over 1,000 pounds in motion. You don't want to be in the way.
No, I'm glad we're kind of a good distance back.
A good distance, but that little barricade in front of us, I hope lane number 1 does not just get too ambitious with how far they want to cross that line, because we are in the danger zone.
Oh, yeah. If they if they just keep going, we are screwed.
All right. So John Furr, 18.61 seconds. He is our new leader. Beats Nico Chaparrales. But you know what, Laz? I dare say that we are going to see that beat over and over again as this roster continues to move down.
Well, I was so impressed at the standard that we had watching the Viking press. This open class is truly exciting, and it's, you know, we are battling, or the athletes are battling for 3 positions to go to a Giants Live. The winner of this competition in the past has gone on to do exceptionally well. And these are future stars. We said that in the Viking press, and I truly have to reiterate it here. These athletes are world class. It's not like, you know, they're kind of building their way up. Whoever wins this is ready for the final of World's Strongest Man.
This is not an amateur contest. This is a pro-level contest. I mean, this is...
Especially at those top 10, they could all fit into a pro show anywhere.
Harkin, Cave, Hazeliger, and Kolarod. Hazeliger finishes first in lane number 3. Kevin Hazeliger of the Netherlands, followed closely by Dan Cave of England. And we have Jack Harkin of Ireland in lane 1 and Hakon Kolarod of Norway in lane number 4, closing in on that finish line. Under 10 seconds, it's now or never.
Harkin needs to dig deep, try and finish this off.
I think Kolarod gets it in the nick of time. Kevin Hazeliger of the Netherlands, 22.58. Fast, but not fast enough to beat out John Furr or Nico. And, you know, this is an interesting event to watch because we saw a lot of massive, statically strong individuals on the Viking press sort of do well up until that 30-second mark or that 10-rep range and then gas out. But here, the athlete, no matter how big or strong they are, you can get this thing done in under 20 seconds. And when you have so much mass in motion, I mean, sky's the limit here. If you can have a strong and stable pick and keep that stability down the course, who's to say how close to that 10-second mark we can get?
Well, I don't think we're going to see 10 seconds for the full distance, but we are seeing some rapid times.
We're definitely going to get close to 15. Here we have heat number 5. Aurelien Lejeune of France in lane 1. Nedjamin Ambeskovic of Bosnia in lane 2. Alex Kopp, USA in lane 1. And Josh Hatfield, USA, or lane 3, and Josh Hatfield in 4. Hatfield moving ahead.
Hatfield going really fast.
Lejeune is accelerating. Wow.
Not far behind. And Kopp just goes down before the finish line. Nedsman still. I got to say, he's like an elephant almost. True power there, just doesn't quite have the speed. There was no drops. He was steady. Just got to pick up that foot speed if he wants to be competitive in these competitions. He's got the power. Now he needs to work on that athleticism.
Josh Hatfield did so well there, though. I'd love to see that after
17:71.
Incredible. Our new leader. That's fast. We're going to get closer and closer to that 15-second mark. Here we have in heat number 6 in lane 1, Sami Ahola of Finland. Lane number 2, Nicholas Gardione, USA. Lane number 3, Stephen Good, USA. And lane number 4, Josh Gregory, USA. I'm looking at these two Texans in lanes 2 and 3, Nick and Stephen.
We're going to have a Texas battle here in the center. Both looking extremely close right now. Who can be the fastest on the turn?
Nick is quick. Both athletes tall and with long strides.
Look at this.
They're
This
punching
is a
the gas.
head-to-head battle.
Stephen
Good
coming out
goes
ahead.
ahead.
Wow.
Oh, goes flying. Nice flip, and he's up. Is he okay? I hope so. I think he may have just felt something in his groin area or upper quad.
Hopefully it's just a little strain. You know, maybe something cramped up there, but the pressure was on between him and Nick. I knew they were going to do
They
something
were
powerful.
pushing each other.
Look, here's Nick looking spry and cheering on his fellow competitor, Sami Ahola, Finland, closing on that finish line with Nick
Almost
Gardione.
there. And there we go. Going to check the rules
Wow.
and whether we can slide it across or we lift it across.
I'm not sure, but I mean,
I think you get to that point, you're just like, there's the finish line. I want it across.
Stephen Good, 18.03, just barely falling short of catching up to Josh Hatfield with 17.71, but that was just so cool to watch, especially from that nice shot that followed him on the live
two
stream.
athletes so close like that. You've been in that position. I've been in it before where you're head-to-head with someone and you can sense them at the side of you. It makes you push that a little bit harder. Sometimes it pushes you in a good way. Sometimes you push too hard and you end up kind of overstriding, making mistakes. Luckily for Stephen, he got past the finish line before he stumbled.
Hopefully whatever happened is very minor and does not follow him through the rest of the event. But here we have heat number 7. Anders Aslak of Denmark in lane 1, Stuart Graham of Scotland lane 2, Oskar Ziolkowski of Poland in lane 3, and Adam Roskowski of Poland in lane number 4. Polish power in lanes 3 and 4.
He is flying.
Just like the Texas fight, we have a Polish fight going on.
Both neck and neck. Zalowski quicker on the turn, though. Look at this. He is motoring
Strong,
down this course.
Stable, confident.
That was a quick time.
He is happy. There's a fire burning in Ziolkowski.
It's where that grip strength becomes so important. Roskowski was fantastic on that first length, but grip starting to fatigue on the way back. He's finished, though. And we just have Stuart Graham left trying. Come back from a serious injury last year. He's not quite back to his best, but he's back competing.
He is back to moving 300 pounds per hand quite well. All things considered, something definitely to be proud of. Yeah, I'm looking at these farmers' handles, and I am I'm impressed with their design. I like the rubber crash pads on the bottom, you know, preserving this concrete floor. It's also equally impressive to see them hold up against so much impact and torture.
Yeah. Oh, well built bits of kit.
Very well built indeed. We are moving on to heat number 8. These strong athletes are moving quite well, and the reset is happening quickly. Andrew Montoya, USA, lane 1. Dylan Gardner, USA, lane 2. Roy Orantia, USA, lane 3. And Jacob Fincher, USA, lane 4. 4 Americans. I am going to have my eyes on Fincher and Orantia. Fincher, with more experience than Roy. He's got strong back and shoulders. But Roy is one of the strongest deadlifters I've seen who has not gotten to move to that big stage yet. But he is here right now, ready to give his all for a Giants Live spot. Can either of them catch Josh Hatfield in the lead with sub 18 seconds? Bit of a stumble from Fincher. All 4 men accelerating well.
It's a good race between these 4.
Oh, lane 1, Montoya fell short. But Roy inching ahead. He gets it. Fincher
I tell you what, if Fincher didn't mess up that start, he could have had an excellent time there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But, you know, small. I was talking to Martins about it. When you have such a big field of athlete, you know, new numbers-wise, any small error can result in a dramatic point difference.
Absolutely. Montoya there finishing across the line.
See what Roy's time was. Be ready for our third to last heat. Lane 1, Ayub Mohammed of Germany. Lane 2, David Tinsman, USA. Lane 3, Lucas Hatton, USA. And lane 4, Denis Berezinks.
Now, visually looking, these four men all look like they like pressing movements. So let's see. We know they like pressing. They've performed well in the Viking press. Let's see how they transition to a more dynamic event. The Farmer's Walk, about speed and grip strength.
Roy Orantia barely falling short of getting first with the 17.96 seconds. Still sub-18.
Hatton is out the blocks fast.
But he's walking
Moving
that
well.
fine line between too fast and fast enough. Look at this acceleration from Luke.
Movement is excellent. Ayub struggling there with a grip. That was quick.
Wow. Well, let's see. Getting some updated leader information. It looks like Oskar Ziolkowski of Poland managed to get 16.91 seconds, putting him in the lead.
Ziolkowski going under the 17 seconds.
Wow, I'm curious to see how Lucas Hatton stacks up with that fast run right there.
They are battling hard here. It's halfway down, just over halfway down his first length. Loves the static events, loves the pressing.
Lucas Hatton, 16.93 seconds, 0.02 seconds shy of Oskar Ziolkowski's time.
So he's just slightly slower. Wow.
It doesn't get more fractional than that.
That's going to be a hard one to take, going on hand time.
Tough pill to swallow there. The only thing that could make that a little bit easier to swallow is if someone beats that time even more dramatically.
Thank you.
And here we have our second to last heat. Wesley Claiborne, lane 1. Thomas Evans, lane 2. Matthew Ragg, lane 3. And Jaco Schoenwinkel in lane 4. Lane 4 of South Africa, lane 3 of New Zealand, and lanes 1 and 2 USA.
This should be a good one.
Very strong men, but how fast can they move? I'm looking at Evans here.
Yeah, my eyes are on him. He's really impressed me all year. I'm interested to see how he can kind of combine these 7 events this weekend.
Evans and
This is a
Schoenwinkel.
race, though. We've got a race between 3 athletes, and Evans goes down.
Schoenwinkel
unbelievable there.
with Ragg.
And Claiborne struggling with his grip a little bit on this return length. Come on, Claiborne, let's get across. Schoenwinkel, really impressive, taking the win. Come on, Claiborne, let's get across this finish line. There we go, finally gets himself across that white line.
I see Evans pointing out to the field. It looks like he may have stumbled on some chalk there.
Getting
or
someone
slip,
to give
but,
it a clean.
you know.
Yeah.
All right, we have our final heat. Laws, who do we have there?
We've got Nathan Goltry, Spencer Remick, last year's runner-up, Tim Buck, and Tyler Obringer. Tyler, I was talking to him, he won the first event. He says the Farmer's Walk is his favorite event. And he was kind of having a bit of back and forth with Nick Best. I think Nick's time was around the 15-second mark in the over 50s. So Tyler said that's his time to beat. He wants to beat Nick Best's time. Let's see how he does. an exciting new athlete to the international scene. And look at this race. Spencer Rimmick is reminding people why he's been there and done it before.
As is Goltry. Goltry in the lead.
This is a race between these three athletes. Tyler goes down. Goltry and
Spencer Rimmick.
I think
barely.
Spencer Rimmick takes it just. And look at that.
You don't want to get in the way of those shoulders when they come together right there, but
Can we get a time for that?
that is going to, I would love to see a slow motion replay of that if we're able to.
We are going to sort out a slow-mo replay. That was a race right there. The pressure perhaps getting to Tyler Albringa.
Schoenwinkel in the lead with 15.65 seconds.
That's a hell of a time.
Let's see how.
That was a race right there. Really exciting.
Wow.
The staff straight on resetting for our next event, which will be the deadlift.
I want to see the time if we can.
So Schoenwinkel was 15 seconds. I believe he was in the lead.
He is in the lead, but
Spencer Rimmick 16:31, taking the heat win, but not enough to take the overall win. That goes to Jaco Schoenwinkel from South Africa, 15:65. What a time.
yeah, we talked about it, just how far that bar would be, continue to be inching closer and closer to that 15-second mark, and it happened.
We saw it.
It happened. We saw it. Just absolutely incredible to see such big bodies in motion like that with 700
Some
pounds in
tremendous
tow.
times. I mean, anything under 20 is absolute world class.
It
Like,
is, and
I'm talking high level against the best in the world.
whoever comes out as the victor has truly, truly earned it at every turn. And you know the magnitude of these weights. There's no sugarcoating it. It's heavy.
Indeed. Let's see if we can get the overall scores.
All right, there we have it. Our men's open scores. In first place, Jaco Schoenwinkel, 15.65 seconds. Spencer Rimmick, 16.31. Nathan Goltry, only 0.07 seconds behind in third. And Matthew Ragg, 16.47. And Oscar Ziolkowski, 16.91. Lucas Hatton, 16.93. Look at that. That's five athletes all in 16 seconds and fractions. Just... it's insane how close these things come down to.
I am unbelievably impressed by the standard we've seen so far.
And even Josh Hatfield and Roy Orantia, 0.2 seconds away, more or less.
Yep. So we're going to take a look at the overall scores for every single category.
This will be
so
our
far.
standing after the first two events with combined scores.
So Kate Connolly so steady with those first two events, putting herself in the lead ahead of the likes of Rhiannon Lovelace.
And a 5.5-point lead is a pretty good lead at this point. Something that I'm sure Rhiannon is keeping her eyes on.
Yeah. And last year's winner, not even in the top 10 currently.
But Antonia Varechia has only 1 point between her and Rhiannon Lovelace. And there's a good 7-point difference between third and fourth right there.
So many points to make up still. With these big classes, that just one small mistake can cost you.
There is. I mean, we've got 400 athletes here. Each group has, on average, about 30, 35 athletes. It's quite impressive. Our women under 73 kilos. Nancy Johnson in first with 50 points, with a second-place tie between Jessica Mitchell and Emily Naismith, 47 points, and a third-ranked tie with Rachel Greathead and Hannah Brock with 42 points. Just
That's going to be a tight class.
That is.
Already, that's some battles.
I'm
Not much in it.
the top six there, so close to each other, especially the top five.
And when we talk again about how big these classes are, one small mistake can cost you.
Women under 82 kilos, Nadia Stowers and Donna Moore tied with 49 points. And we saw Nadia just really, really take that farmer's
That
one
was
by charge.
so good to see.
Erin Murray, 45 points with only a half a point behind with Ashley Crawford in fourth place. Kim Dirks 3 points behind Crawford. And then we move on through the rest of the class, narrowly grouped together. I mean, is another one to watch, but Nadia and Donna. That's going to be a clash of titans
there. That is
there.
going to be a battle all weekend.
But they can't count Erin out. Erin is right there. Just
last year's under 73 champion. She's moved up in weight. Still looking to be competitive.
our women's 40-plus, our Masters women's athletes, Mary Colasanto in first place with 53 points. Aisha Ula, 50 points. Kelly Jones, 45.5 points. And by half a point behind, Michaela Moore is in fourth place with a tie for fifth between Annika Karhu and Rachel Paveglio. Half a point behind Michaela. I mean, that is a top six right there. A top seven, so closely grouped, all within seemingly 10 points of each other.
Wow.
Women's Open, Andrea Thompson, 2 event wins, scoring a perfect 60 points. Rebecca Roberts, 55 points. Inez Carrasquillo, 51 points. And in fourth place, Lucy Underdown, 49.5 points. Very narrowly behind her, Rachel Flugel with 48 points. And a tight group as well.
Look at that.
Yeah, with the top 9 there.
44, 44, and 44. Gabby Dixon, Jackie Ochevsky, Olga Lachuk, and Annabelle Chapman. So much talent on that page right now.
You know, and the classes that we've seen already on the screen, a lot of pressure moving into this axle deadlift that is next. Our men's under 80 kilo class. After event 2, these are our overall leaders. Dean McVie, 76 points in first place. In second place, Josh Korlewski, 73 points. And in third place, Benjamin Donnan with 70 points. Narrowly behind Donnan is CJ Kraus in fourth, 69 points. Tommy Lavelle with that astonishingly fast farmer's walk, putting him in fifth place with 65.5 points, followed by Richard Stout in 6 points, and the defending champion, Peng Yangaban, right behind. Now our men's under 90. Nikolai Myers, first place, 76.5 points. Cameron Peters in second, 74.5 points. Ngurumu Ahipin, 74 points. Dan Benson, 69.5, and Tyler Davis in fifth place, 66.5 points. But another tight group of athletes with those top 3 in that 70-plus point range.
Yeah.
Really, the pressure is on Nick with Cameron right there behind, and then the linear champion.
Naramu, yes.
He
Nikolai, last year's champion. Naramu, former champion. And Cameron Peters, sneaking in the middle there at the moment, but lots to fight for.
Wants to fight for, and I'm not surprised after seeing him at the Southwest Regional Qualifiers earlier this year. Just a dominating force there. Men's under 105 kilos. The return of Andrew Clayton. He did so well on that farmer's walk. 79 points for Andrew in first place. Justin Loy also astonishingly fast on that farmer's walk, 74 points. And in third place, Sean Diver with 73. Fourth place, Dan Hughes, 72 points. And in fifth, Brandon Burley with 67 points.
Those 5 stretching themselves away from the rest of the pack right now.
Over 10 points separate fifth and sixth. That is quite a bit of a spread there. But Clayton really earning that lead on that
Good to see him back as well.
I agree. Men's 40-plus in first place. Big Bad Dimitar, 67 points. And then Big Z right behind him with 1.5 points shy of Dimitar at 65.5. Romic Velt, 63 points in third place. And in fourth place, Danias Repshis, 59 points. Matt Webb, 56 points in fifth. And narrowly behind them, even Yitzi and Washington Flores, both still 50-plus points.
Rauner Hainler down there in 9th position, but with the deadlift coming next, he'll be looking to pull some big points back.
Mark Felix in first place with 45 points. Also, I mean, he's going to gain some even more points in the deadlift next.
You'd think so, wouldn't you?
Yeah. George Pearson in second place with 43 points. Nick Best.
Nick Best is another good deadlifter as well.
He is. You cannot count him out of having a top placing deadlift, I tell you that. 38.5 points for Nick in third place. And just half a point shy of Nick, we have Eric Patterson in fourth and Andy Clark in fifth. 1.5 points shy of fourth and in sixth. And also in seventh. I mean, half a point difference between these athletes. A narrow spacing there.
This is still only after 2 events. Lots still to fight for. Our deadlift bars have been set up. We will go through the rest of the results. There is our open category. Spencer Rimmick, last year's runner-up, currently top of the pack, 85.5 points. Nathan Goldtree in second place on 83, and Jaco Schoonwinkel, third place, 81.5 points. 3 athletes so far over 80 points.
But Tyler Obringer is right there at 79 points, and half a point behind him is Matthew Ragg. And we still have Lucas Hatton, then Tom Evans,
Honestly,
Oscar, Roy, Jacob.
That whole page is full of talent, and I think we could see a number of times the positions change through this competition.
I think so too, but it is very interesting to see how the deadlift will separate these, because we have had 2 very different events so far, and even a deadlift for reps event. This is it's not a static 1 rep sort of thing. This is who can go that distance and secure the most reps possible in this 60-second time cap. But as the bars get set up and we get ready for our women's, I'm going to take a break myself.
I think you should. Make Mr. Bryce come in and take over from you. You've been doing a stellar job so far.
Well, it has been quite fun, and a lot of edge of the seat, nail-biting moments are in store. So
just go and enjoy
I'll
yourself.
rejoin you
Cheer
after
the
a
athletes
while.
On, and I'll speak to you soon.
Let's get Mr. Bryce on here. I'll be back.
So while we give the Texas Titan a well-deserved break, we will take a look at our under 64 kilo class. Axle deadlift, 380 pounds, 172.5 kilos. 4 athletes will be going at a time. I believe we are going with a 45-second time limit. I will confirm that for you soon. With the challenges that we've had this weekend, we had to cut down to 2 days rather than 3. So we're trying to do everything we can to make sure all the athletes still get to do all the events, but we can fit everything into the time frame that we have. And we'll be starting off with DeAndre Flores and Elizabeth Johnson, our first pairing, both athletes from the USA.
Madewell and Hines both with 2 reps, and Casso and Gary with 1 rep. Here we go, 700 pounds, 317.5 kilos. We have Wolfert,
Good rep for all
Omar
4
McClellan,
athletes.
Muhammad, and Aslak on their lanes respectively. $700 for reps.
We've got 5 reps in lane 1, 3 reps in lane 2 and 3, and 2 reps in lane number 4.
Sixth
Wolfert
rep.
gets to number 6.
Omar McClellan is happy with his 3 reps. He gave it his all.
Mohammed
4 reps.
4 as well.
And 2 reps at the very end right there for Aslak. We'll have heat number 2 coming out with Marcus Alexander of Grenada on lane 1, Seth Sukup, USA on lane 2, and Connor Gordon, USA on lane 3. A 3-man heat. We had a withdrawal there in lane 4.
Athletes get strapped in.
Sukup, the other Sukup brother, right out here. This
Alexander
is Seth Sukup.
deciding this is too much, leaving it to the other two gentlemen. Sukup and Gordon both moving nicely through 4 reps. Sukup moves up to 5.
6 reps for Sukup. He needs 1 more to be the event leader. It's now or never. Just a bit shy. He will tie Wolfert with 6 reps. And he's happy. And there's got to be that feeling of victory just in the sense of being done with their day. They will wait for sandbags until the morning. We are moving on to heat number 3. Stuart Graham in lane 1 of Scotland, Jack Harkin in lane 2 of Ireland, Sami Ahola of Finland in lane 3, and Håkon Kollerud of Norway in lane 4. I'm hoping I pronounced those accents correctly.
Graham in lane 1 gets a good first rep and second rep. Harkin lane 2 also matches him. Sami Ahola has done 1 rep in lane number 3. And Kollerud in lane 4 is currently on 2 repetitions. Good battle taking place between Graham and Harkin in lane 1 and 2, both on 5 reps, but Graham is closing in on that 6, just trying to hitch it out. Gets the down signal. And he's going to take the heat win here with 6 reps and equal himself in first place overall. Big performance there from the big Scot.
All right, heat number 4 coming out. Nicholas Smith in lane 1, USA. Wesley Claiborne, lane 2, USA. Tim Buck, lane 3, USA. Andrew Montoya, lane 4, USA. I am looking at Wesley here.
And he needs a big performance.
He needs
wants
a
to
big
get
performance,
into that top 10.
but he has that back power. He is one of the world's strongest stone loaders, and stone strength does carry over into deadlifts.
He's looking very confident in these early reps.
And Wesley Claiborne always wearing those Merrill shoes, the Merrills of power.
It's a good choice.
He is just powering away. He needs to keep that pedal down.
He's just taking his time between each rep, which we've spoken about already. With 45 seconds, you cannot afford to do that.
You have to condition your body to be able to operate and keep that gas pedal down.
He's equaled our leaders with 6 reps, but
And
he
he
can't be
stops.
wasting time. Come on, Claiborne, you need to get in there.
I so desperately want to see Claiborne at Giants Live. I want to compete with him at Giants Live.
We know he's got the power. Everyone talks about Claiborne. He's a powerhouse, an incredible athlete. We've seen him do some incredible things, but you have to put it together.
You do.
Come comp day.
You got to have, and it's just, you have to have the mentality of how can I make my body condition itself to fit as much
Sometimes
work as possible into
when
this time.
you're an athlete and you're looking to improve, it's not always about getting stronger. You've got to take a good look at yourself as a competitor and think, right, where can I improve? And even there, we were both saying he's wasting time between reps. He could have got an extra rep just by being quicker, just by not allowing that reset to kind of pull him out of position. So much power there and so much potential.
You know, we are guilty of it at times too. It's all too often more fun in training to go for a higher weight than it is for a higher rep count. But it's necessary to train that, especially when events like this dictate your ability to qualify to Giants and move on to World's Strongest Man if that's the path you want to walk. Waskowski in lane 1 and Pofo in lane 2, Cave in lane 3, and Gregory in lane 4 are off to the races with 700 pounds in tow.
And Gregory has gone into the lead there with 7 reps.
Blinked and you could miss it.
He was quick.
8
Goes
reps.
to 8 reps. 700 pounds on an axle for 8 repetitions.
Approaching the double-digit range, but running out of time.
Can he get number 9? Yes, he does. Gets the down signal.
new leader.
Very, very strong deadlifting there.
Josh Gregory of the USA with 9 reps at 700 pounds.
Now we've got another huge deadlifter coming out next in Nedzmin and Beskovic. Someone, you and him both did 1,000 pounds on the same day. We know how good this guy is.
One of the greatest deadlift days in history, where 7 of us pulled together.
I was sat there watching. It was such a good day.
It was a monumental day that I will never forget.
Now Nedzmin needs to prove he can do the reps and get them done in the time. We know he's got the power for 1 rep.
He needs to not stop. I want to see him do what Claiborne could not.
No messing around. Straight into the next rep, Nedzmin. There we go. That's a nice rep. 2 reps done.
Rhythm needs to be maintained. Alex Cobb on lane 3 is a great deadlifter as well. I've seen him operate. I've competed with him in the past.
Alex looking fast and explosive as well with these
Nedzmin
reps.
moving, claiming his 5th rep.
So far, Cobb.
Stella at 6.
Stella's doing really well.
It's a great heat. Nedzmin getting
7 reps for
7.
Nedzmin. Goes into the lead. Needs to dig deep now. Keep pulling, Nedzmin.
8
There
reps
we
for
go.
Nedzmin. He needs double
Come on,
digits.
you can't stop. You need to pull, Nedzmin. You need to go now. And he's run out of time.
A critical error in judgment. No matter what signs the body is giving you to stop, with 45 seconds on the clock, you need to have the mental resolve to tune it out and get the job done.
It's such an important factor when it comes to strongman. I can tell you from experience. Gabe can tell you from experience, you are burning. Everything is hurting. The legs are hurting. The lungs are burning. But you've got to ignore that pain and dig deep and keep pushing through. The power was still there with Nedzmin. He was still strong enough to keep pulling.
He has what it takes.
He's got to learn to fight through that pain. And that's the difference between just doing 1 rep and doing something for repetitions.
Hazeliger, Gartner, Rude, and Berezink. Lanes 1 through 4. Gregory is the leader. Nedzmin tied with 9 reps.
I think Nedzmin got 8.
Oh, 8 reps, okay. Fell short of that number 9. That's right.
I can be quite harsh sometimes, but when it comes to a deadlift like this, if you're not strong enough, that's one thing. But if you're not capable of just pushing yourself through that pain, that's when I look at people and think, is this guy ready for strongman? Because strongman's tough. You've got to be able to go through that pain barrier.
And that's why there is a place for harshness. There is a place for harshness when you are talking about athletes trying to make their way to world's strongest man. At the world's strongest stage, you cannot afford to take your time. You cannot afford to pause. You cannot afford to psych yourself up in the moment. You have to be ready the second you step onto the field. But this next heat, Nico Chaprales looking towards the heavens and channeling his power. A man who talks a big game, a man who wants to pull 1,000 pounds in contests. He is a very strong deadlifter, and he is going to show that here.
Started poorly on the Viking press. He made up for that on the Farmer's Walk, and this is his favorite event. He needs big points here on the deadlift. We're going to see what he's made of. We know the power's there. Now let's see if he's willing to dig deep. He needs 9 reps.
See Nick Guardione in lane 3, pacing around. He needs to get himself in the zone, approach his bar once it's cleaned up, and go to work. Nick, not the strongest deadlifter, but I'm guaranteeing he's going to surprise himself. He's a man hungry for the big stage.
I've been impressed with so many athletes in this class.
Fur in lane number 4, another strong athlete.
Let's see who's willing to dig deep on this deadlift. Last event of the day for these men. They need to push. They need the points. And Chaparellis is moving well on the deadlift here. Lejeune is moving well, closest to us. Fur on 3 reps.
Guardione cannot afford to take a step back like that with 45 seconds. I know he's not the strongest at deadlift, but he's moving well.
Nico Chaparellis still looking strong, but he needs to stop wasting time, like we said. There we go. He's got the power, still pulling hard, getting a little bit harder towards the lockout. The advantage he has strength off the floor.
Look at that. He just blew 5 seconds right there. Come on, Nico.
Nico needs to dig deep, get those hips through. Gets the down signal. But like you said, maybe there was 10.
You know, it's one of those things. It's, you know, and in mad respect to him, getting 9 reps is incredible.
That's huge. 700 pounds for 9. Let's put that out there.
Yeah,
that is an
let's
unbelievable
put that. But
performance.
let me get back to the frustration of seeing a man with such incredible prowess just sitting there and waiting for 5 seconds grinds my gears. I want to see that double digits fall.
Especially with the likes of these athletes coming up now. Tom Evans, Tyler Obringer from the USA.
Jacob Fincher.
Yeah, so many
Stephen
great
Good.
athletes to come. Spencer Rimmick still to come.
I know Stephen Good did
Oscar.
strain himself a little bit on that farmer's walk. I'm hoping he doesn't hold him back here on the deadlift. Oh, it's not looking good there. His hips drift up very early. He's going to be hard-pressed to get some reps. But lane number 1, Thomas Evans just blasting away rep after rep.
Thomas is not wasting time, and there he takes a breather.
As he takes a knee.
But to be fair to him, I don't think he's got that top-end power of, say, a Nedsman.
Right.
You know, he's really blasted through those first 6. Starting to hitch now, but he's still digging deep. Tyler needs to dig deep and get this 6th rep as well.
When the athletes are resting there at the bottom in that fatigue state, 10 seconds is called, and that 10 seconds can go by in the blink of an eye for someone who's just screaming from fatigue.
They are beat up now. They're feeling this day one. The athletes are sore.
There's a lot of hobbling going on there. All right, here we have our second to last heat. Roy Orantia of the USA in lane number 1, Josh Hatfield, USA lane 2, Lucas Hatton, USA lane 3, and Oscar Ziolkowski of Poland in lane 4. I'm watching Roy Orantia here. Josh Hatfield is strong, Lucas Hatton is strong, but I think Roy is going to be the best deadlifter here unless the pole.
I've been told to watch out for this pole.
Well, we'll see. It's going to be a battle of lanes 1 and 4 possibly, but let's not count out Hatfield or Hatton. Even though Hatton is a shoulder-dominant athlete,
Gregory and Chaprelis both currently are leaders with 9 repetitions. And let's remind ourselves, 700 pounds on an axle for 9 reps, that is good deadlifting.
I want to see Roy win here. A young athlete with incredible potential. Hatfield is looking good.
All 3 athletes looking good.
Trying to catch Roy is going to be an endeavor. Roy locking out his 6th rep. 7 for Roy.
Roy is flying through these. Lovely technique as well, pulling smoothly. Matches our leaders on 9, and he's got time for this 10th. Come on, Roy.
Why does he stop? Come on, Roy.
Wow, 10 repetitions there.
There we go. We see double digits out of Roy.
Roy Orantia, 10 repetitions. And that's the most impressive thing I've seen all night.
Oh, man, I'm glad his hamstring was able to hold for that.
After 3 brutal events, 10 reps on a 700-pound axle deadlift.
Incredible, incredible. And there's that moment of frustration, like, don't stop, man. But here we have our last heat. Matthew Ragg, New Zealand, lane 1. Nathan Goltry, USA, lane 2. Spencer Remick, USA, lane 3. And Jaco Schoenwinkel, South Africa, in lane 4. I am watching Spencer Remick here. Matthew Ragg is also a very strong deadlifter out of New Zealand. But Remick, I see some big things coming from him. Remick is no stranger to the axle deadlift. See, he routinely trains snatch grip axle to build that upper back strength.
Remick is proving he's a great all-round athlete as well. There's been no weakness so far. He's picking up points on every single event, and that is key.
Schoenwinkel moving very well in lane 4.
Winkle was so impressive on the farmer's walk. Look at this. South Africa have a history of big deadlifters. Gerrit Badenhorst, former world record holder from South Africa.
Chris Vanderlyn, currently in South Africa, big
another
puller.
huge deadlifter.
Unfortunately, fell a bit short at the World Deadlift Championships, but we know he's good for 1,000 pounds.
Yeah. And now Schoenwinkel is on 8 reps. But look, closest to us, Ragg on 10 reps. Spencer hits 10 reps. Wow, some absolutely incredible lifting. Ragg, 11 repetitions. I was focused on the far end and I looked across. I saw he was on double figures. Still pulling strong for that 11th rep. Gets himself the outright win.
Wow. Just wow. You know, Goltry was keeping a lot of control on the way down, really trying to keep that tension established in the back to spring back up. And it worked well. He wound up getting 8 reps, I believe, but might have taken a bit of time and a little bit of strength off his top end.
Matthew Ragg, though, unbelievable 11 reps there with 700 pounds.
Incredible. We're going to have scores up in a second as we get ready for our...
And then our men's open class. What an exciting class this is turning out to be. Last year's runner-up, currently top of the table, Spencer Remick on 128 points. Matthew Ragg, 122.5. Nathan Goltree, 120, not far, but 120.5. Schoonwinkle, so impressive there on the deadlift and the farmer's walk, 119. Roy Orringtina on 110.5, Lucas Hatton on 110, Tom Evans 104, Oscar Zolkinski on 101.5, Tyler Obringa on 100, and Josh Hatfield 91.5 points. This category keeps changing. I've been extremely impressed with Spencer, though. He's really proving what a great all-round athlete he is.
Consistent and well-rounded. It's good to see Roy Alnickel. But here we have the first of our men's open class. Sam Ahola of Finland in lane number 2, going solo. No pressure to be the only athlete on the field. Setting the pace for everyone yet to come in our biggest class of competitor here today.
And let's remind everyone watching, the weights are even heavier now. We are at 300, 325, 350, and 375 pounds. In kilograms, we're looking at 136, 147.5, 159, and a monstrous 170 kilo sandbag.
In the nick of time, he gets that third bag.
Ahola gets it, and that's good.
That third bag was the heaviest bag we saw in both our men's under 105s and our men's masters over 40. A bag that not many men at all today have gotten. Ahola sets the pace. All right. In heat number 2, Anders Aslak of Denmark in lane 1, Hakan Kolarod of Norway in lane number 2, James Ruud of USA, lane 3, and Denis Berenzink of Ukraine in lane number 4.
Oh, just lost that there. Kolarod in lane 2.
Ukrainian power in lane number 4. 350 with ease.
There we go.
For Berezink.
This is looking very strong.
375, the heaviest bag here today at the official Strongman Games.
Look how big it is.
Just wrestling with that monstrous weight. Look at that mass. Just a bit too much for our Ukrainian at the very end.
Nice and fast 3-3 though.
Yes, very strong.
With only 2 athletes that we saw finishing in the Masters, and I think only a couple finishing in the under 105s. With this even heavier sandbag, it's going to be a feat to finish this.
Heat number 3, Taylor O'More McClellan of Australia in lane 1. Lane 2, Victor Ampofo of Ghana in lane 2. Kevin Hazeliger of Netherlands in lane 3. And lane number 4, Nicholas Smith, USA. Nick Smith just throwing that bag up. A tall man. Long levers. And we see Nick Smith, the only athlete on the field not wearing a belt. O'More
McClellan has gone into the lead here after being the slowest on the first sandbag. Slow and steady, he's going to leave it there.
Look at him pull the beard out, letting it restore its flow. Now, personally, Laws, when I'm lifting sandbags or most odd objects in general, I don't like wearing a belt. I don't like having a slick surface for things to possibly slip off of, and I don't like having my breathing restrained. But let me pick your brain. Where are you at with bags on a sandbag like this?
I'm with you. Like Atlas stones and sandbags, I'm someone that struggles a bit with mobility anyway, so I find a sandbag, a belt gets in the way. I like to be able to kind of freely bend down, get as close as I can to the object, and also, like you say, still be able to get air in more comfortably.
But this is all unique to each athlete.
Maybe I'd go for like a soft belt over a leather belt.
I agree too, but you see a variety of techniques and personal preferences here. Another field with one man.
Often you get some athletes at this point, they're just feeling beat up. Their backs are sore, and the belt's just holding them together half the time.
Literally, keeping all the organs in place where they should be. But here we have Gordon, Mohammed, Roskowski, and Furr, lanes 1 through 4. Representing USA, Germany, Poland, and USA respectively.
Mohammed is fast there in lane 2.
Furr and Gordon right behind. Mohammed and Roskowski looking good.
In the middle 2 lanes, flying through those early bags.
But Furr right there with them, keeping the pressure.
Roskowski looking very strong. Mohammed needs to get this up to his shoulder. Hand away.
Wow.
Good stuff.
375.
We've got 3 athletes now battling on this 375 mammoth sandbag.
Roskowski feeling the weight of the bag. Just.
Oh, I think he was just outside of time, wasn't under control.
He was. Again, the judges have to be very strict. He knows he's capable of it, but the pressure of the short time frame in 45 seconds is just too narrow. Impressive nonetheless. We know he could do it, and he does as well. All right, so moved on to Heat 5. Nicholas Gardione, USA in lane 1. Dylan Gartner, USA lane 2. Jack Harkin, Ireland in lane 1. And Alex Kopp, USA, lane number 4. Very keen to watch Nick Gardione here in lane 1. Good friend and fellow Texas athlete, eager to join the pro ranks. The man who has gained a lot of pounds of size over the recent year, and with it some strength to showcase. But Alex Kopp on the very end, although seemingly the smallest frame athlete in this heat, is a very skilled individual. And I'm sure the same is said about Garner and Harkin. Let's see who comes out in the lead here. Gardione blazing with Gartner right behind.
And what I like there is how quickly he moved from the first sandbag to the second. There's no wasting time. Straight down, throws the sandbag down, hands around.
Nick has practiced this over and over again.
We've already mentioned how important that is. Be well prepared on these type of events.
His technique is on point, maneuvering around the head with ease. 375 pounds for Gardione. Nick is looking good to the lap.
He adjusts the hands. Now he's got to thrust through. Work that sandbag up your body now, Nick. Come on.
To stay with it. Everything here, Nick. Come on. He is so close.
Can he readjust?
Oh, just barely without time. But he poured his heart and soul into it, and he should walk away with his head held very highly after that.
And you know what's great about his performance there? He was quick. And we say this all the time, you know, it's about the overall score at the end of the day. It's not necessarily just about winning this one event. It's about accumulating all those points. And being fast through 3 gets you good points. He gave himself the chance of that 4th, but he had that backup of knowing if you don't get the 4th, the first 3 were quick.
And at 375 pounds, Laws, I'm sure that may very well have been PR territory. And if he has gotten it before, it may very well have been only that one bag with plenty of time. But I really love how rhythmic and precise his technique was on those first 3 bags. Heat number 6, Andrew Montoya, lane number 1. Jacob Fincher, USA, lane 2. Tyler Obringer, USA, lane 3. Jonathan Wolfert, Germany, in lane 4. Jake Fincher here, a very athletic and lighter framed athlete, but a big man and a strong, strong athlete. Look at him, blazing through these first 2 bags.
So everyone now on to sandbag number 3. Fincher's getting close.
Readjust. A floppy bag there.
It is, yeah. Can he get it up to his shoulder? Yes.
Texas Power in lane 2. Jacob Fincher.
And Obringa, not maybe as efficient in terms of technique, but tremendous power. Once
Fincher's
he gets up
feeling
to
the
the lap.
strain. Wow. All 3 men in lanes 1 through 3 got to that 4th bag, but just took a bit of time and power out of them, nailing that 3rd one. Impressive. These are massive weights. Heat number 7, Seth Sukup, lane 1. Joe Stella, lane 2. Both men USA. Lane 3, Dan Cave of England. And lane number 4, Stuart Graham of Scotland.
Sukup, Stella, Cave, and Graham.
And they're off. 300 pounds to the shoulder. Sukup and Stella with Graham right behind.
Sukup looks like he's practiced this.
Listen to those roars and bellows coming from Sukup. The power, the aggression.
Look at that. Can he balance? Needs to. There we go.
Onto the 375 for Sukup in lane 1. He needs to move. He has approached the 10-second mark. Keep the pressure. Let's go. Time escapes him narrowly. But wow. Those bellows we could hear came from the belly of the beast in Seth Sukup right there. Tremendous power, and a man who has not been in the sport for very long, showing that he does have what it takes to hang with the best.
So we still have our leader as Denis Brezink from the Ukraine.
Here's a powerful, powerful heat. Aurelien Lejeune of France in lane 1. Wesley Claiborne, USA, lane 2. Tim Buck, USA, lane 3. And Josh Hatfield, lane 4.
You know, this open class has been so exciting so far, and, you know, results change event to event.
I will say Wesley Claiborne is one of the strongest men in the world when it comes to sandbags. But this is a ladder, and we have seen his conditioning tested.
I've seen his stone lifting. That's unbelievable.
It is. It is. But look at Wesley. Just
Oh, look at that. That was easy.
what a joke for Wes.
Now, can he maintain that as these sandbags get heavier? Sandbag
Looks
number 2
identical. But
is
look at
not a
Hatfield on
problem.
lane 4. Not too far behind, but Wes is
350 pounds goes up. This is unbelievable by Wesley Claiborne.
Let's go, Wesley. Show us what you have.
Come on, Wesley. He's got this. Bump it up. There we go,
Wow.
Wesley Claiborne showing us
Incredible.
why so many people say this man should be competing at the highest level.
You put it, and look at that Buck right behind. But Wesley Claiborne, undeniably one of the strongest men in the world when it comes to sandbags.
So we have a new leader. We'll find out the official time, but that was impressive.
I wonder where that measures up compared to Clayton's time.
We will see.
You know, the first 3 bags looked identical, and there was some airborne travel. You could see a gap between
You
his
could
shoulder
just see that was
and
power.
that bag. The last bag was the only one where he showed any signs of fatigue, but I would not say even that was hard for him. Phenomenal performance by Wes Claiborne. We have heat number 9 coming up. Oskar Ziolkowski of Poland will be in lane 1. Tom Evans, USA, in lane 2. Lucas Hatton, USA, in lane 3. And Karolis Aleksandroviskiu of Lithuania in lane number 4. Tom Evans, Lucas Hatton, big men, but 2 other big men in lanes 1 and 4, ready to challenge their skill. Tom Evans, a precise operator.
Evans
Followed.
looking really good with that first sandbag. Second sandbag looks good. Ziolkowski also.
Ziolkowski giving Evans the pressure.
Ziolkowski has been exceptionally impressive.
Evans
just
inches
in the
ahead.
lead.
375 for lanes 1 and 2. Evans.
Evans, can he get this?
Rivaling Claiborne.
Whoa!
Oh my gosh.
Zilkowski also aiming to get this 4th sandbag. He's close. Just can't quite balance that bag onto the shoulder. Oh, and he goes down.
A crushing feeling.
Claiborne's time, 4 in 28.89.
Wow. Sub 30 seconds for Wes Claiborne. I want to know where Evans stacks up because
he looked
that
fast.
Was very fast. But we knew Thomas Evans would be a force to reckon with coming into this event.
What's impressed me about Thomas Evans is there's been no weakness. He hasn't necessarily been the best at anything, but he's always there or thereabouts on every single event. And that we know, especially in a contest with so many athletes, really
we may very well have seen him be the best at the sandbags, but Wes Claiborne left a hell of a mark to measure up to.
It's going to be close between those two. We will look for the time shortly, but we have our next heat of athletes coming
Second
out.
to last heat. Big Nejmin Ambeskovic of Bosnia, lane 1. Jako Schunwinkel of South Africa in lane 2. Nathan Goltry, USA, lane 1. And Nico Chaprales.
Claiborne is still our leader with 4 sandbags, 28.89. Schoonwinkel looked good on the first sandbag, and again moving fast between the sandbags. That's what I like to see. Not wasting any time.
Goltry, Chaprales, and Ambeskovic all narrowly behind.
Chaprales has talked a big game when it comes to these sandbags. I've seen a lot of back and forth on Instagram. Let's see what he can do here.
Look at Schoonwinkel.
Schoonwinkel has really excelled this weekend.
What a force. Our South African.
Goltry still battling on the final sandbag. Schoonwinkel there. That was impressive as well.
He has consecutively surprised me over and over and over through this weekend so far. Chaprales falling a bit short of making it through the whole series. And Goltry right there at the very end. They give him a little bit more time, he would have had it, but wow. One heat remains. Josh Gregory of USA lane 1, Roy Orantia, USA lane 2, Spencer Remick, our current leader overall in lane number 3, and Matthew Ragg of New Zealand in lane 4. Well, it goes without saying, let's watch Remick and see if he can maintain that lead, but the pressure is on by Roy Orantia in lane 2.
Yeah, Orantia very impressive.
Ragg, a big, strong man, hailing from New Zealand in lane 4, and Gregory, the American, the first to get the down command in lane 1, but all 4 men advance. Gregory is showing some strength. Remick with a fumble, costly in lane 3.
Just looks like he's struggling to get down to the sandbag a little bit. Maybe some stiffness in that back like we spoke about. He's got the belt on.
Double belt, you know, a leather belt and a soft belt. I don't
Gregory
know if that was the
looking
best choice.
very good in lane number 1.
Ragg, right behind him, Orantia.
Gregory's close, he's got to fight.
Gregory gets
fourth.
it. Big points for Gregory. Matthew Ragg on the way up, 5 seconds. Wow. We're going to see some point shift. I wonder what happened with Remick.
Again, I don't know if there's that back tightness we mentioned. He's double belted there, and he just looked like he was struggling to get his hands under the sandbag.
A new leader, Jako Schunwinkel, 4 bags, 26.57 seconds, only 1 second behind our fastest time of the day with Andrew Clayton in the lighter class. But
Schoonwinkel from South Africa, he is impressive in these first 4 events that we've seen so far this weekend. I'm pretty sure that has guaranteed him a place into the final 10.
Laz,
look forward
to travel all the way from across the world, you got to come with a purpose, and Jako is proving that purpose at every turn.
So I think we are going to see our top 10 men's categories now. Who has progressed into the final? As soon as we have these results up, we will let you guys know. There's going to be a quick reset here, and we move in to what we call the final 3 events where every class is cut down to 10 athletes. We remove the scores from the athletes that are eliminated, so the previous 4 events, it's as if it was 1 to 10 just the 10 athletes competing in the final 3 events.
So the athletes still get to hold on to the strength of their performances and ranking them amongst each other, but we remove the pooling of the athletes that do not advance. And this is high
It's a good way
stakes.
to do it.
It is. It is good, very fair, and it does not take away all the efforts already shown. And personally, I prefer this compared to what they do at World's Strongest Man, but that's a different conversation.
That's for another day.
Yeah. Another day, another live stream. But wow, I am absolutely blown away by the performances we saw here to set the pace. I am a bit surprised at what happened with Remick there. I mean, this is another thing too where, you know, he had the opportunity to rest after day 1. Maybe he's feeling that fatigue. But Schoenwinkel moving on with a hell of a performance on the sandbag.
Andrew Clayton's sandbag there, still for me, the performance of the day.
Andrew Clayton's sandbag was like Tommy Lavelle's performance on the Farmers, but Lavelle also on those sandbags. Maybe not as fast. He had to pause prior to the last one, but here we have it. Our men's open scoring. Jaco Schoenwinkel, first place, all 4 bags in 26.57 seconds. Look at that. Tom Evans did inch out Wes Claiborne. 4 bags in 27.25 seconds. Wesley Claiborne, 4 bags in 28.89 seconds. And a bit of a spread there between Wesley and Josh Gregory, who is in 4th place. 4 bags in 34.71 seconds. But wow, Tim Buck, only 0.07 seconds behind Gregory to get all 4 bags. And they are the only 5 athletes out of our men's open to successfully complete the series all the way through.
Us of that was a 170 kilo sandbag, 375 pounds.
Incredible. But look,
I
the
need
time.
to see who our top 10 are, though.
Yes.
They are teasing us.
I'm biting at the chops to see this.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, we will take a quick break before we get the scores for our men's open division. And our staff here on the ground is setting up the car walk, the first of the official Strongman Games 2022 final events. My name is Gabriel Pena. I am known as the Texas Titan. I am joined by
Lawrence Shahley, or Uncle Laws as I'm known these days.
Uncle Laws.
Post-competition days.
It has been a pleasure sharing the airwaves with you. We will be back shortly for the OSG final here in Daytona, Florida. We'll see you soon.
For the podium, if not the win, who knows, as we move on to this final category. And, well, buckle up, get ready, because the car walk is going to get supercharged now. 453.5 kilos, 1,000 pounds is what we're dealing with now. It's Tyler Obringer on the far side, up against Spencer Remick, a well-known face to the OSG family and indeed international strongman. And it's Remick who gets the great start there.
If he gets no drops, this is a great run for Remick, and he does it.
Absolute class act is Spencer Remick this year, and Tyler Obringer only 6 months in the sport, and he came here already with a big reputation after 6 months. 3 events, contests he's done, 3 wins he's had, but I think this is maybe a little bit of a lesson for him from some truly world-class strongmen here, but still, for a man so fresh to the sport, a former NCAA wrestler, college footballer, and general world-class stud, he's done pretty well. It has to be said.
You talk about lessons. A 1,000-pound lesson in the form of a car walk is a pretty tough one to take. But Remick, our leader, with 11.03 seconds, setting the pace for every athlete left to follow.
Well done, Spencer.
Spencer says faster than last year, so he's happy about that yoke run, and he should be. He is sitting in a good position after the past several events. A lot of momentum, not just on the car, but in his performance overall. Heat number 2 will be Nathan Goltry of the USA in lane 1 and Roy Orantia of USA in lane number 2.
2 Americans getting ready to show what they can do here, as we have 5 pairs in this lineup of 10 finalists. Our last pair will be Tom Evans up against the South African Schoenwinkel, and Buck the American. He'll be in the penultimate pair. Tim Buck, who's really impressed, up against Oskar Żelkowski of Poland. So these men all battling for 3 places at Giants Live. Spencer Remick managed to get one of those places last year. Came over and competed at the Royal Albert Hall in front of 5,000 people. I think an experience he enjoyed greatly. Sadly, Tyler Cotton wasn't able to make it over for the World Tour Finals. He was coming over for Glasgow, and I hope Tyler, if he's watching this, is getting on well and recovering from different injuries that he suffered this season. As Goltry versus Orantia, or 2 Americans, gets underway.
Goltry smooth and steady with no drops. Orantia closely behind. No drops from either man at 1,000 pounds, but both looking a bit too slow to catch big Spencer Remick with his 11.03 run. But no drops at this kind of load. Incredible. Nathan Goltry, training out of the West Coast. You saw him on screen getting some last words of pep talk from the Dragon Martins Lisis before he started, one of his fellow statesmen there in California. And Roy Orantia, hailing from Arizona, also Southwest, but a very fresh face to the sport, someone who has clearly shown a lot of promise in the road ahead. .42 seconds for Goltry. A little too slow to catch Spencer, but a strong showing nonetheless. And here we have our next heat, heat number 3. Lucas Hatton of the USA stepping forth, and Matthew Ragg of New Zealand in lane number 2. Lucas Hatton, a man that has massive cannons for shoulders, really wanting to get a 500-pound axle press and eventually the world record in the future. But can that shoulder strength equalize in moving power under this 1,000-pound vehicle? Matthew Ragg of New Zealand, I've competed with him in the past at several world-level events, including the Arnold Amateur World Championships back in the day.
Yes, Matthew Ragg, 5 times New Zealand's strongest man. Did particularly well in the deadlift, and world's strongest fan, beating his chest over his pick for that one. As Hatton versus Ragg. And it's Hatton who's making all the running here, though.
Wow, Hatton looks great. What a good run. And someone who is notorious for strict shoulder pressing ability has proven himself to be quite a good mover under this 1,000-pound car. But is it fast enough to catch Spencer?
Well, Ragg, he's enjoyed it. He enjoyed it. Who doesn't enjoy running with a car if you can do it?
It's a beautiful day.
But he certainly has colossal amounts of power, Ragg. There's no doubt about it. But it's a unique style of super yoke is the car walk. It takes a great amount of stabilizing with the hands.
And the core as a whole.
And core as a whole, of course, yes.
Lucas Hatton finishes with a time of 14.5 seconds. Oh, I'm sorry, we got that corrected. 11.8 seconds for Lucas Hatton. Just tenths of a second behind Spencer Remick. Matthew Ragg finished with a time of 14.5, I believe is what I saw.
So we have just 2 pairs left. It'll be Oskar Żelkowski of Poland against Tim Buck of the USA. New guys to the scene, and let's see how they get on here. Our Pole closest to camera, Żelkowski. Our big American Buck on the far side, Tim Buck. Chasing the time of 11.03. Spencer Remick, our leader still, and he came out in the first pair. Żelkowski goes down.
Buck staying up and moving steady. No drops is critical. What a run. by the American, Tim Buck.
Zolkowski comes to finish off now. Might not quite be Pudzianowski at his finest, but it's great to see another Pole coming through the ranks and making waves at the OSG. These 1967 VW Beetles have seen a lot of action today already, and they're about to see a pair of the most powerful men of all. Tim Buck managed to beat Zolkowski there, and our final pair will be Tom Evans of the USA against Jaco Schoonwinkel of South Africa. And this will be the last run of the day coming up here. These cars roughly 1 year younger than Mark Felix, I think. Something like that. So someone told me.
Quite a legacy for both the cars and the man himself. Now, this last heat is going to be one to watch, Colin. Schoonwinkel has really been showing at every turn that he is a force to be reckoned with, but the likes can be same about Tom Evans, a man who seemingly has no weaknesses.
Yeah,
1,000 pounds in motion here is what a test.
There is Tom Evans. He looks is he a little ginger, or is he ready to go here? Nope.
No, not ginger at all.
A little fast feet there.
He must have heard you.
Don't worry, he says, proving it. And Schoonwinkel there on the right-hand side. Again, don't read too much into what you see. Is he pensive? Is he nervous? Or is he about to hit the afterburners?
I think he's got the switch ready to flip on, but not on yet.
Well
We're going to see a very different individual once that whistle blows.
Well said. One of the real keys of being a great strongman is learning when to flick that switch, isn't it? And learning when to absolutely go flat out. And it's not even at the start in the pickup. It's more once you get it going, and that's really when you put the foot down.
But neither man can afford a single fumble. It needs to be precision and perfection every step of the way.
So Evans nearest to camera, Schoonwinkel on the far side, the South African. This is the final pair in the car walk here today, and it's Schoonwinkel who's going to the line, and it's going to be quick.
Wow.
11.03, Evans goes down just a few meters short. One last pick and go. He bullies it over the line, but it's going to be closer to 15 seconds than the 10-second mark, I fear, for him. And Schoonwinkel may well have grabbed the win in the final pair of the day. Let's wait and see. Has Evans hurt himself, or is he just disappointed?
I think it's just disappointment. He's walking out of there fine.
So our scores coming through now, and it is Jaco Schoonwinkel, 11.58 seconds. No, he is a half a second behind Spencer Remick's 11.03, but just ahead of Lucas Hatton's 11.8 seconds. As we look back at what happened, where did it go wrong for Tom Evans?
He was teetering a little bit off the get-go, and we can see his car. Look how it's moving side to side, those back tires tapping the ground. He was just not nearly as stable as Jaco. Look at how stable Jaco's car is there. But, you know, when such a large footprint on this vehicle, any teeter is dramatically sapping the energy in the athlete's core, and that's what Evans felt. But a man who has bullish strength was able to really just muster it all and get the job done. Still with a great time, but unfortunately not a top three worthy time.
So we're starting to clear up already here and get ready for the next event as our results come through for the men's open. It's Spencer Remick, half a second ahead of Jaco Schoonwinkel of South Africa in second. Hatton also under 12 seconds. Lucas Hatton rounds out the top three. Tim Buck, a cool 12 seconds dead, gets fourth position. Matthew Ragg, 5 times New Zealand's strongest man with 14.5 seconds, rounds out the top 5. Further on down the order, perhaps a little disappointment there for Tom Evans in 7th position. And I must admit, I think Tyler Obringer down in 10th, some 13 seconds back from the nearest man with 34.4 seconds, will probably have learned quite a lesson here. Now then, this is the overall scores after 5 events. It's Jaco Schoonwinkel, 3 points ahead of Spencer Remick, who put in a tremendous performance there. And it shows you how quickly this can turn around still. 2 events to come. Matthew Ragg sits in 3rd position. 33.5 points, and that is a cool 4 points ahead of Nathan Goltry. Lucas Hatton then 3 points back from him. That's your top 5 in the men's open category here at the OSG. We are getting ready for our next event now, And what did you think of that then?
That was quite impressive. I mean, if these men are vying for that Giants Live spot, this is Giants Live level weight. So there is no sugarcoating it, no beating around the bush. They have proven that they have what it takes should they earn that spot there. But we talked about Obringer, and he is very fresh to the sport. With a body so freshly unconditioned to this type of load, it is just sheerly impressive for him to finish that carry. Never mind the time that he got. For him to finish that full 1,000-pound carry as he did, this guy has a promising future and should be very exciting to watch unfold. But Jaco and Spencer, wow, we are in for a fight in these next two events.
Will you join me for the dumbbell in a few minutes' time?
I will, and I look forward to it.
Join us both there. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll be back in just a few minutes with the circus dumbbell for all of the categories.
We have Tyler Obringer of the USA in lane 1 and Ostro Ziolkowski of Poland in lane 2. A heavier series, 180, 200, 220, and 240 pounds on this dumbbell ladder.
Ziolkowski already onto the third dumbbell. Very nice there with the 220, 240, just shy of 110 kilos. There we go.
Phenomenal run.
The Polish athlete will be pleased with that performance.
Very reminiscent of watching Mateusz Kwiatkowski,
Another fantastic dumbbell presser for sure.
a fellow Polish athlete, just
Tyler gets
incredible
the second
power.
one.
Tyler Obringer, very fresh in his strongman career, already showing he can hang with the best.
Told me he's only been doing strongman for 6 months.
That's what Colin Bryce told me. Very incredible.
Come from powerlifting.
And a wrestler
Hugely
as well.
powerful. Yeah, wrestler as well. Give him another year of training. I think we're going to see him really challenging next year.
Our second heat, USA athletes, Roy Orantia and Tom Evans in lanes 1 and 2.
Two impressive athletes this weekend as well. Actually, everyone in this class has impressed so much.
I see Roy chalked up on both sides, possibly alternating shoulders.
I can honestly see 10 future superstars in front of me right now in this list.
I 100% agree. This is a roster full of talent here in the final.
The important thing is to stick with it, keep working hard, keep improving, but they are extremely talented, and I'm convinced we're going to see a number of these guys at World's Strongest Man very soon. Evans has had a great year. He would have loved to win this competition. He's still battling.
Orantia, alternating shoulders.
Yeah, first time I've seen Orantia, and he's impressed as well.
Evans advancing to the fourth dumbbell, 240 pounds. Orantia right behind him.
Evans on to the final dumbbell. Does not get it locked out.
Orantia feeling the supreme weight of this massive monster bell.
Just battling to get it up to his shoulder. Now Evans is in a good position, lots of leg power. I cannot quite lock it out.
I think Evans might have gotten that down command. Maybe.
Maybe I'm a little bit harsh with my judging.
Hopefully I never get you as one of my judges. I am kidding. It would be an honor, my friend, an absolute honor.
I'm someone that likes fair judging across the board.
Yes.
That's what I like to see. So it's unanimously the same all the time.
All right, I believe Evans did get that down command. Here we go. 4 dumbbells in
Just in time.
59.28. In the nick of time. We have Nathan Goltry of USA in lane 1 and New Zealand's repeated strongest man, Matthew Ragg, in lane number 2.
How good has he been this weekend? Matthew Ragg, really impressive.
Massive, massive man.
Goltry
As is
also.
Goltry.
And I think we'll get to see Ragg when we both head over to Australia in January.
I think so too. I look forward to it. Both men advance to the 220.
Good lift from both of these athletes, both moving on to the 240 pounds, 109 kilos. Who can get this dumbbell? Goltry battling hard to get it up to the shoulder. Rag is now balanced. Needs to remove that arm. Just can't quite get it fixed. Oh, good effort.
Just short. Both gentlemen having to drop the monster bell. I think time will escape them. Goltry lining up for one more attempt.
So much effort just to get it in place.
It's now or never, Nathan. And time escapes him. But
you know,
what an effort.
these dumbbells have hugely thick handles as well. Thicker than normal dumbbells that we use in competition.
They do.
And that
They're
makes
massive.
it harder
like,
to stabilize when
like
you're up in the shoulder.
A massive can of rain energy. Just filling out the entire hand and forbidding a closed grip. We move on to our fourth heat. Tim Buck of the USA versus Lucas Hatton of the USA. This is an event that we can see Lucas Hatton excel. He has a massive shoulder presser, has a massive shelf to rest the bell on, and look at that.
So easy with that first dumbbell.
He has told me he is chasing the axle press world record and wants to take it someday.
Well, he might chase the dumbbell record at this rate. Look how easy that 220 goes up.
Let's go, Big Luke.
240 pounds. Straight up to the shoulder, in position. Wow!
Perfect run from Lucas Hatton. Incredible.
And Buck was only a fraction of a second behind.
A phenomenal run by Buck as well, but Luke, that is the makings of
that was a race right there.
Future world record in presses definitely in store for big Lucas Hatton.
Both of those athletes.
For sure, our new event leader.
Oh, without question.
Lucas Hatton, 4 dumbbells in 24.07 seconds. Is this the fastest time we've seen all day?
It's definitely up there.
1 rep every 6 seconds across the ladder, including the footwork between each one.
It's certainly the fastest with such a heavy set of dumbbells.
Schoenwinkel and Remick, lanes 1 and 2. Both men vying for that top spot.
Remick has been so consistent all weekend.
Remick is a very strong overhead presser as well.
Has excelled in certain areas. Let's see how he does on the dumbbell here. He's ahead right now, and he gets the 220. He's going to score good points again. He moves on to the 240 first.
Spencer needs to keep his head.
Spencer just needs to focus on his lane.
Oh, Schoenwinkel misses it. Here's Spencer's opportunity.
And he takes it. Whoa. Now Schoenwinkel needs to compose himself, just focus on getting this dumbbell. Big South African, really showing what he's capable of. The dumbbell has just got the better of him so far.
Wow. Spencer Remick completing the series, staying persistent and accurate.
That showed Spencer's experience right there. He focused on his lane, wasn't distracted by his opponent being ahead of him, just concentrating on each implement in front of him, and it performed.
4 dumbbells,
really
35.5 seconds. Doesn't even come close to big Lucas Hatton. Major points for Lucas there. But Remick right behind him, still in clear contention for that top spot. Here is our standing. Lucas Hatton. But Tim Buck very close with 25.5 seconds.
Our eyes were on Lucas Hatton, but Tim Buck was just a fraction behind.
A phenomenal performance. Ziolkowski and Remick narrowly behind, especially Ziolkowski. But let's see how this affects the overall standings for our men's open. Schoenwinkel still with a 1-point lead over Remick, but 1 point is not much at this point going into the stones. Lucas Hatton and Matthew Ragg tied for third currently, but only 1 point ahead of Tim Buck.
So what this means is you got a real battle for first and second place, and then another battle going on for the podium. But Spencer Remick, even though he is a point behind, he just needs to beat Schoenwinkel, because on the stones it comes down to, if it's a tie, it comes down to who wins the last event. That's the rule they're going with. So really, it's a shootout on the stones.
But as far as a rival to try to overcome on stones, Jaco Schoenwinkel is a match and a half for Remick. But what a showing.
Like I said, we've got 10 superstars of the future here. I've been so impressed by every single one of these athletes. the chopping and changing after each event. So much talent on show. It's going to come down to the Atlas Stones. They need to dig deep. They need to go and rest up now, get some food in them, stay hydrated, come out here and give everything on this last event.
This roster of athletes is clearly displaying perfect preparation leading up to this event, and it is phenomenal to watch them operate. I know I'm looking at some future rivals right here, and it makes me very excited to have such a high caliber of athlete, not just motivating me now, but I know bringing out the absolute
You know
best
you're
of
going to
me.
have to work hard to stay ahead of these boys because they're coming. I'm quite happy sat in the commentary booth now and not worrying about competing against them. But
Oh man, but it excites me, Laws. It lights a fire under my butt, and I
good
can't
to
wait.
hear. It's so good to see new talent coming through. It's really been a pleasure to watch every one of these classes this weekend. We're going to have a very quick break before everything is set up for the Atlas Stones. We'll be back with that very, very soon. Do not miss it.
Our men's open category, Tyler Obringer and Roy Orantia, both USA athletes and both very fresh in their strongman careers.
Absolutely. I was talking to Tyler earlier. This is around 6 months of strongman training. Very new to this sport, very new to the implements, not familiar with a whole lot of stuff, but showing millions and millions of just gallons of potential, essentially.
He had an incredible display of strength on that Viking press
Yes,
to
he
start
did.
off the show. But Roy Orantia from Arizona here in the States, showing his deadlift ability on these Atlas Stones.
Throwing that out there.
On to the 425-pound stone freshly added to the series, the heaviest stone here today. Roy with a slip on the way up. A bit of a tacky malfunction there. Both men, fresh in their strongman careers, getting a tough lesson of stone right here, but a respectable finish. Orantia completing 5 stones, our current event leader.
Both of those gentlemen have a very, very bright future ahead of them.
They do. And I know it is only a matter of time before we find ourselves facing them in the arena of power. Our second heat in our men's open will be Oskar Ziolkowski of Poland in lane 1 and Tom Evans of the USA in lane number 2. Now a reminder, our stone weights have increased to the heaviest series of the day. 300, 325, 350, 375, 400, and 425 pounds. This is heavy.
This is very heavy.
Heavy, 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 but the top 3 will be gaining a spot at Giants Live.
And it will be very, very well earned. The points aren't that spread out, so you're going to have to fight for every single point here in the stone run.
I tell you what, Evan, having their medal tested against the best in the world here, with such a small margin of error at play, these men will have a very true dose of reality of what it is like to compete at the Giants Live world stage. And let us not forget, if any of these men have the dream of becoming the world's strongest man someday, Giants Live is the direct path to that most prestigious arena.
Absolutely.
Evans, lane 2. Ziolkowski, lane 1.
And we are off.
A one motion from
One
Evans.
motion, very easy one motion.
Now, you and I both saw Evans at the Shaw Classic, finishing with style on the Atlas Stones. He is no stranger to a heavy series. Evans, 375 up onto the 400.
Both men onto the 400 here. Poland edges forward.
It gets stuck for Evans. Ziolkowski onto the 425.
Let's see it. That's 6 stone.
Ziolkowski to the lap. And he gets it.
Gets it. First man to load the
Our
that
first
last stone.
heat. Ziolkowski setting the pace. Our second heat. Our first man to get all 6 stones from Poland. Oskar Ziolkowski leaving his mark here at OSG. With 3 heats to follow, our new event leader has definitely raised the bar high.
Absolutely, setting the pace for the rest of these athletes, making a statement. If they want that top 3 Giants Live spot and an official Strongman trophy, they are going to have to earn it.
.46.63 seconds for Oskar Ziolkowski of Poland, finishing the full 6-stone series. An impressive mark to attempt to beat. Our third heat, Nathan Goltry in lane number 1 and Tim Buck in lane number 2, both representing the United States of America. Nathan Goltry has been a pro strongman here in the States longer than both you and I.
Well, I'm not a pro strongman.
Oh, a technicality, but being a world's strongest man competitor, you are a pro in every meaning of the word, my friend. But Nathan Goltry has the veteranship. Coming from the West Coast, he is an absolute tank of a man. Probably closer to 400 pounds than he is 300. These stones are not too far away from his own body weight.
And we are off. Not a problem for both of these guys. One motioning that first stone.
Buck inches ahead. Looking very explosive onto the platform.
That explosiveness is going to have
he's
to
got a
help.
little bit of a tiptoe there. Recovers well. Tim Buck moving on to the 400. .400 up to the tower for Buck.
Will we see our second 425 loaded?
Goltry just shy of that 4th stone. And Buck just shy of the 6th stone. Ziolkowski, so far untouchable with his completed 6-stone run. We have our final 2 heats of the official Strongman Games remaining. In lane number 1 will be Matthew Ragg of New Zealand, multiple times New Zealand's strongest man, and Lucas Hatton, a fresh athlete embarking on his strongman journey from the USA. A man who has shown both strength and speed throughout this entire show. I have fond memories competing against Ragg back in the day at the Arnold Amateur World Championships. He has only gotten bigger and stronger since.
And in the open category, that is not an easy feat.
It is not. But he looks good. He's in top form. He's inspecting every one of his stones. New Zealand's repeated strongest man, Matthew Ragg, ready to face big Luke Hatton. Both men are tied with 36.5 points. This is a battle for the podium.
Oh, wow.
Ragg, absolute power, answered by Hatton. Ragg, looking untouchable with speed.
Ragg is blitzing these stones.
He needs to be careful and not crash into that ledge. But New Zealand's strongest man needs no direction from the Texas Titan. Here he goes onto that fifth stone, 400 pounds for Matthew Ragg. Easy, onto the 425.
So strong. This 425 should be no issue for him.
Ziolkowski's time is well within his grasp. Matthew Ragg on his way up. 425 is there. New Zealand's strongest man comes out on top in this heat. Lucas Hatton closely behind, making his way to the 425. Luke needs to lock and load. It is just outside of his power reserves. That camaraderie and sportsmanship. Congratulations to both these men. Look at those traps on Ragg, just freshly pumped up after a fast run.
So much blood pumped into those traps. He gives Constantine a run for his money.
Still falls short of that measurement, though.
Yeah, of course.
But to even be compared in trap size against the Georgian Bull is a compliment in itself.
Absolutely.
Matthew Ragg, we are waiting for an official time, as this was a fight against Hatton for the podium. And as we wait for that time, our last two men, Spencer Remick of the USA in lane number 1 and Jaco Schoenwinkel of South Africa. And there we have it, Matthew Ragg with a time of 43.84 seconds, putting him as the event leader. But both of these men have shown that they have what it takes to crush that time. And Spencer Remick, of course, fresh off of his Giants Live debut at the Royal Albert Hall only months ago. He is no stranger to this style of stone run.
Absolutely not. That experience with Giants Live, I definitely feel could help him, give him slight advantage in the stone run.
I think he's carrying that with him because he seems very finely tuned into the moment, not caring about any other athlete or any other social interaction beyond his immediate focus with himself. Remick is on a path to glory, but Schoenwinkel from South Africa, almost a dark horse in many ways. Now, Jaco has 45 points going into this final event, and Spencer 44 points. Only 1 point separate these men. This final stone is critical to their win.
I think it's safe to say who wins this stone run wins the heat.
I think Spencer has it. I think coming off of that Giants Live debut earlier this year gives him that edge that he needs to do what needs to be done. USA versus South Africa, the last two men.
This is for the win. Who wants it more? Who wants that top spot at the Open Official Strongman
Jaco,
Games?
fast with the one motion. Spencer a little cautious.
And that'll cost him if he's not too careful. He needs speed on this.
A third one motion from Schoenwinkel. Schoenwinkel finally lapping the stone and going to a two-phase lift. 400
Fifth
onto
stone
the tower.
Oh, what a fumble.
A fumble. This is Spencer's window of opportunity. He needs to seize it.
He needs this.
This is where consistency pays off. Remick,
very
400
good.
to tower.
Onto that 425 stone.
Schoenwinkel is gassed. This is it, ladies and gentlemen. Spencer Remick, 425. The Giants Live debut showing itself here with Remick.
And there it is, the
we have it.
Stone.
Spencer Remick clears the 6-stone series. We will have to see where the points lie. But Schoenwinkel missing that 6 stone is very costly. And I believe with a 54.33 finish for Remick, and both Oscar Ziolkowski and Matthew Ragg finishing the run, this gives Remick possibly enough points that he needs to secure his victory. I believe he has it, but we will wait for the official confirmation.
A come-from-behind victory for Remick. That was winning in style right there.
Spencer
There
Remick,
it is.
number 1, with 52 points our victor here at the official Strongman Games, Jaco Schoenwinkel of South Africa, with 49 points behind Remick for a second place finish, and Matthew Ragg, New Zealand's strongest man, in third place. What a stacked podium of athletes. And a shout out to our tie there for fourth place by Lucas Hatton and Tim Buck, both American athletes, both making their mark here at OSG. An incredible, incredible series of jaw-dropping performances of power here in Daytona, Florida. Evan, what do you think of what we just saw?
There's not very many shows out there quite like this. So many different world titles on the line in one weekend. So many different athletes from different walks of life, all culminating together in one of the greatest displays of strength there is in the entire world.
This was the world's best, and one of the beautiful things about this weekend was the coming together of so many flags from all corners of the world in this weekend of power. What an amazing weekend it has been. This has been the 2022 official Strongman Games here in Daytona, Florida. A massive shout out to all the sponsors who made this happen. You can see them across the banners in the back, with a massive shout out to SPD, the title sponsor of the official Strongman Games. Of course, a big shout out to our crew on the ground, the NASCAR-like pit crew speed of our volunteers and event reloaders there on site, our scorekeepers and judges, Colin Bryce, Aaron Molin, Lynn Morehouse, the Giants Live crew, the commentators.
Don't forget the commentators.
It has been absolutely amazing here. And with pride, I am about to sign out. I have truly enjoyed myself here. It has been 2 long days, but they seem to have gone by in the blink of an eye. And I don't know about you, Evan, but I am freshly motivated to get back to the gym and lift some heavy weights.
I don't even think I'm going to go back to my hotel room. I'm just going straight to the gym.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am Gabriel Pena, the Texas Titan, joined by
Evan the T-Rex Singleton.
We are both so glad to have been here to commentate this massive weekend of power. Until next time, we are signing out. Be safe, be strong, and keep chasing power, my friends around the world. And, of course, the awards will be coming up shortly. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
$64-kilogram ladies, please come out. Masters women, be ready. You are next. We're going to roll through all the awards. All top 10 receive awards. 64-kilogram ladies, please come out.
I don't know how. They want me to talk more, so.
Every
once I know what
division,
you
just
say,
be
I'll do
ready.
it.
Aaron's been talking so much, he just can't help it. Honestly, I think I'm going to let him keep talking.
That's fine.
All right. It's been a long day. We might not have all top 10 for every division, but we are going to start awards. We're going to be very quick. Have most of our 64-kilogram ladies here. Let me just make sure we got our award presentation crew. 1 second.
Masters 40s. Excellent job, everybody. And one last category. We can do this. We can do this, Daytona. Men's Open, come on down. What's at stake for the Men's Open? Top 3. You get an invite to a Giants Live qualifier. What's a Giants Live qualifier get you? An opportunity to go to World's Strongest Man. That's what these guys were fighting for today. Somehow the other 10 all fit in this space. It doesn't really work out so well with the open class. All right, in 10th place, we have Tyler Obringer from the United States. In 9th place, we got Roy Orentia. In 8th place for the United States, Tom Evans. In 7th place for the United States, Nathan Goltree. In 6th place, representing Poland, Oskar Ziolakowski. In 5th place from the US of A, Lucas Hatton. In 4th place from the USA, Tim Buck. And in 3rd place, representing New Zealand, Matthew Ragg. In 2nd place, also earning his spot to a Giants Live qualifier from South Africa, Jaco Schoenwinkel. And today's champion with a clutch 6-stone load, earning his spot to a Giants Live show, representing the United States, Spencer Remick.
I can do this. It's right here. Once they get done, that's fine. Can you open?